This video about carnivore diet as a remedy for as a way to keep healthy life and to live long, or at least longer. And so let's discuss it again. As in previous part, in the first part, I mentioned that people evolved to get energy from animal fat and proteins to some extent, but mostly from fat. Now fat is, especially saturated fat from animals, by medical professionals, they call it, it is dangerous. It leads to to cardiac problems with heart and earlier development of some problems with the heart, and it is not healthy, blah, blah, blah. So they do everything to follow standard American diet, and it means to get as much possible of calories of energy from grains and products of from grains, which is considered absolutely toxic. Also, they promote the eating a lot of vegetables and fruits, who are that's also huge damage to our epithelium layer and mucus in the guts. Yeah, but instead, only few medical professionals, and I made the research. I also, even if I'm not medical professional, I came to some similar conclusions that the only way to keep healthy body it's to follow carnivore diet. Carnivore diet is based on animal products. It is mostly meat, but also some amount of fish if it is available. And then it's seafood, again, as I said, also next part. And dairy product. So mostly we are supposed to get fat from animals. This is saturated fat, and some amount of polyunsaturated fat from fish and seafood, which we need also for development of our brain and to keep our brain healthy. And the dairy also has good amount of short chain fatty acids, middle chain fatty acids, and also this polyunsaturated fatty acids. Even if everything like fine with the carnivore diet, indeed I follow this carnivore diet already for long. No, it's longer than a year, almost 2 years, and then I'm quite happy with so my psoriasis cured, and I never get any sickness, not only infections, but any problem with my health. And but yet carnivore diet has some limitations and problems. One problem again with electrolytes. For healthy body, to keep our body healthy, we need, as estimated in research, 5 grams of sodium. 5 grams of sodium a day. If it will be more, then it is not okay. And if all history of humans in ancient civilization, salt was so much appreciated that even the word celery is from Latin name of salt. Celery, salt. It is so actually the soldiers, Roman soldiers, were getting celery. They were getting for what they were doing. They were getting payment in salt. So salt consumption of salt always was large, and unfortunately, we have to keep our body healthy. We need more sodium. We need more potassium than sodium. The ratio should be about 2 to 1, 2 parts potassium to 1 part of sodium. And unfortunately, most of food is deficient in potassium, and this is again, as I said, a problem with carnivore diet a little bit. And what should we do? Despite also we have to keep a good ratio of fat to protein, and In this sense, eggs are the most healthy. Eggs are very healthy, and I recommend everybody. I mean, people who understand this about something about health, they recommend to eat as many eggs as possible, up to maximum 35 eggs a day. So, but if we consider that modern production of eggs, then when chicken stay in this in very limited space, and they don't get some better food, so this quality of this chicken eggs not so high. So I prefer to buy eggs from ducks. And ducks in this country, in Thailand, ducks are like free range. They are feeding on snails, on insects and grass in rice fields. So it's and even small fish they catch, and so it is much more healthy eggs in comparison with chicken eggs. A little bit more expensive, but it's affordable yet. So this, but as I said, we have to compensate amount of electrolytes which we need extra. So, for example, not only potassium and sodium, but magnesium is important. Without magnesium, cramps, loss of bone strength, and troubled sleep, and fatigue, etc., are side effects of it. And we cannot get magnesium enough even from vegetables. So there is no way to get magnesium. And to avoid this complication, and not to mention again the carnivore diet, it is giving us some magnesium, but not enough. And to avoid the complication, I use Epsom salt and also magnesium chloride, and consume as an amount 5 grams or more. It is again there is no problem, and this excess of magnesium can be removed from blood by urination, by kidneys very easy. And okay, then what we have, we need potassium and sodium. Sodium, as I said, 5 grams, but if it is sodium chloride, if it is table salt, it is 12 grams a day recommended. Potassium, we need more, in the optimum twice more than sodium. So at least the very minimum of what we have to consume, it is, I buy potassium chloride, and at least 16 grams a day I try to use, or more. More again, not a problem. Even 10 times more potassium than sodium, it is not problem at all. But potassium is very important to grow muscles, to also to all organs to function properly. So it is again very, very helpful. And again, a little bit, let's talk a little bit about giving food to friendly bacteria. What we have again, this medical professional, they recommend to you to eat starch, but it's cooked starch. Its structure is different from cellulose. Cellulose cannot be digested, even if it is boiled and cooked, it cannot be digested. But starch, if it is cooked, it is okay. Can be with enzymes, can be split to glucose molecules. But I don't want, again, as I said, I consider that glucose is toxic, and we have to avoid consumption of carbohydrates as much as possible, but avoid all, but maximum 5 grams of carbohydrates. Meanwhile, we can consider so-called resistant starch as food for friendly bacteria in large intestine. Resistant starch is starch. It is actually a powder of tapioca and potato starch. Other starch will not work. Only these two kind of starches. They are not digested by saliva, in small intestine. It goes directly to large intestine and used by bacteria as food, by friendly bacteria. Another product which is good for health, it is mushrooms. Mushrooms are full with chitin, and chitin again is very good substance for bacteria. And so if mushrooms available, I buy and cook them with eggs and somehow else. So it is again, chitin is really very helpful. They inhibit the growth of pathogenic bacteria in the large intestine because they have some substances which suppress the development of this pathogenic bacteria. But also in the large intestine, friendly bacteria use this chitin to produce short-chain fatty acids, vitamins, etc. So instead of feeding on mucus, they use chitin. Chitin is formula here, cellulose here, and it works quite well. So mushrooms in Thailand are relatively cheap, affordable, and we don't need much. And as I said, the recommendation is to eat as many eggs as possible, and I accept the use of some amount of onions and garlic yet, but again, you make like scrambled eggs with this onion and garlic. It is quite good, and there is nothing simpler to eat than scrambled eggs. They're very easy. And as oil, I use coconut oil. Okay, then this is for this section is over. Thank you for your time.